Hi everyone, welcome to my live session. This is Done Renting Live Session 2. And last week I had my first live session. For those of you guys who didn't get to watch my live session, I just want to do a quick recap today. Last week, we basically answered 5 questions I get asked all the time by my renters. The first question is the cost to buy, the cost to own, and do I need to wait till my credit's perfect? The fourth question was, if I only have limited amount of cash, should I pay down my credit card first or should I keep on saving? And the last question is, do I need to wait till I have a sizable down payment, or if I can buy it now, can I go ahead do it? Hopefully you enjoyed my live session. For those of you who missed it, please go on to my YouTube channel, which is Mortgage Uncensored Yigong, and you can tap on the live and watch that recorded video. Today, we're going to go into the meaty part. One question every renter wants to know: what can I actually afford? And by the end of the session, we actually gonna answer some of your emotional concerns. One is, you probably have seen the lender's pre-approval at some point, and you look at that piece of paper, your heart probably sank. There is no way I can actually afford that payment. And you might have shoveled that piece of paper into the drawer and forget about home ownership altogether. I don't blame you. Lender has their own set of rules when they calculate their numbers. But what truly matters is, what does your real life budget actually support? We're going to go over this today. Look at lender's numbers and versus your real life budget. We're also going to show you how to calculate your own and show you different ways you can actually improve and increase your purchasing power. And lastly, we're going to show you a real life example of how to plan so that you can actually reach your homeownership goal a lot faster. So if this sounds good, let's get started. So what can you actually afford? As I already said, what we're going to cover today. So I'm not going to go into the slide here. Let's talk about lender's math. Lender look at your gross income, which is not your take-home pay, which I'm going to go over a little bit later. Lender's math is your gross income. They always start there. So if your annual salary, let's say, is $75,000, then you're looking at 75 divided by 12. Okay? So that's the first thing. And the next thing they look at is the debt to income ratio. And there's a ratio they apply. For conventional loans, it's 50% max. For FHA, they go higher to 55. Okay, so then they apply the 50 or the 55 and to get to your maximum housing plus your debt to plus your recurring debt. And they come up with your pre-approval amount. I'm actually going to show you, we're going to go over a detailed example so you know exactly how they do the calculation. You know, they have guidelines, 28%, 36%. How do you make it more conservative? But honestly, at the end of the day, they will approve everything at 50% or 55%, depending on the loan program. But does that mean that is actually the amount that you can live with? Most likely not. Let's take a look at this real example. This is actually a real couple from Sacramento. Their combined income is $83.89 a month. They have $350 on a car loan, and they have no other debt. They have a credit score of 700. Now, how the lender will apply this is very simple. It's actually not complicated at all. Your gross income at 8389, apply 50% for your conventional, right? So that's the maximum, which come out to about $41.94. That will include your housing, which is everything. Remember, we talked about it's your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, everything included, mortgage insurance, HOAs. That's going to be in that number. And they're going to subtract out the car payment. So whatever that's left is what they think can apply to your house. So if you look at this number, you're like, whoa, okay, what is my pre-approval? Can you see it? It's $464,000 for conventional loan and $541 for FHA. Yeah, so this couple came to me. They said, yeah, we need a second opinion. There's absolutely no way, based on how much we get from our paycheck, that we can afford this. I laughed, and we actually went through the whole calculation, which we're gonna do this together. But if you look at this number, you're like, okay, yeah, that's lender's rule, but that doesn't mean it's something that you absolutely have to follow. You just need to understand how they come up with this number, right? Fairly simple. DTI ratio, they apply to your gross income. Then they back out all your recurring debt. That's student loan, car payment, whatever your recurring monthly obligations, plus your minimum payment on your credit cards. And what's left is they're going to apply for, they backtrack it to come up with your housing. Okay? See, this is the lender uses the gross income, 8389, right? But their take-home pay is about 5860. They have to pay payroll taxes, their retirement accounts, their health insurance premiums. They're like, yay, this is my take-home pay. How can I go from this and like pay 4,000 towards my housing and left with very little to spend on? Right. This is how you're going to calculate your own budget. Okay, we're going to go into the budget first framework. It sounds really easy. I don't know how many of you guys who have a plan to buy your house in the next 30, 60, 90, or 6 months actually have sat down and look at your budget. If you plan to buy within next 30 days or 90 days and you have not done this, you better do it now. That might move your timeline a little bit further, because doing this homework will really help you understand what can you actually afford. So we're going to start, instead of the gross income, we're going to start with your actually take-home pay. We're going to look in, okay, this is how much money I can live with, right? Then I'm going to take out, okay, this is going to be my fixed expenses. I absolutely have to pay, whether it's your student loan, your car payment, it could be your child support, whatever that might be, and your minimum credit card debt obligations every month. So all these needs to go away. Then you have to look at your living expenses. And also, don't forget, you might still want, okay, I still want to save for my emergency cushion. I have to save for a little bit of repairs and maintenance. Once you get to that budget, that is going to be the number you actually can live with. Then you reverse engineer to get to your housing number. Sounds pretty simple, huh? Well, let's take a look. If we do that, if we apply to use our principal, how much are we talking about here? Actually, before I go there, the expenses that your lenders ignore but you must absolutely have to account for. Utilities, right? Food, household. If you have small children, you probably spend a lot on daycare, nannies. You also have to think about, well, I still want to take a small vacation somewhere with a family during summer or winter times. And one of the biggest items is transportation because people have cars, they have car insurance, they have car maintenance, and gas. So, and if you still have some debt you have to deal with, you may want to set aside, okay, this I want to go towards extra for my debt payoff. So all these expenses, the lender does not know that you absolutely have to account for. That's called a real life budget. Let's see what happens in our real couple example. After we have accounted for all their expenses, they spend about $1,000 on food, car gas about $700, there's childcare $500, utilities, personal spending, and also savings of $400. Our budget first pre-approval number, our own number, come to be only $339,000. I know. There's a huge difference here where you feel really comfortable paying every month versus what the bank told you, hey, I will borrow you up to this amount. Crazy, huh? Yeah. But if you understand it, you'll be okay. If you understand how to go through this process, you're not going to make the mistake or feel like house trapped. Like you can't do anything. You have to eat rice and beans every day. Okay, I want to actually go into show you a real example how to do this budget. If you go, I've done a lot of homework here. Go to mortgageandcensus.com/done renting. Okay, so ignore this, your paycheck here for a second. I'm going to come back to it. Here's your monthly budget. What goes out? I've actually categorized the recurring debt and the living expenses. And anything I do not have here, you can just put in the other. What I want you to do, if you truly want to find out your housing budget is, go back to your credit cards, go back to your bank statement and look at all the expenses that you incurred in the last 90 days. And then you kind of average it out. I think that would be a pretty smart way to do this. And once you have all this figured out, that will give you a very good number. Okay. So go to mortgageandcensus.com, done renting, and do this exercise. Let me go back to this schedule here. So we pretty much talked about why the lender's numbers are so much higher than your real life budget, because they basically just look at two things: your recurring debt and your income. That's it. But from first-time buyers, for anybody who really care about how much they can afford, you have to go through this house real life budget, line item by line item. All right, so what if you look at this 339,000 and the question is, I cannot buy in the neighborhood I want to live. It's probably true, right? It's a real challenge for Northern California. It really is. There are several levers in this housing budget. Level one is you can adjust the housing, meaning, okay, if you want to buy now and you can't get into that neighborhood, you can probably, I call it, go find a townhome. So instead of finding the neighborhoods like a 400, 5,000, whatever that they're looking to buy, they can go into a townhome that's probably has a smaller yard, cheaper price, right? Or they have to commute a little bit further, and they may have to extend their timeline in order for them to get to whatever the price they want to be. So there's also how do you adjust your budget? One thing is, well, in their case, they have no debt, honestly. They could reduce the transportation cost, maybe sell their very expensive gas cars. Well, I mean expensive meaning the gas is expensive. I get an EV. Or this is a secret I'm going to show you, or you can fix your W-4. And what is a W-4? People are going to ask me. W-4 is actually your withholdings. Every employer is going to tell you, hey, how much you want to withhold your taxes every paycheck. For those people who actually have small children, and I guarantee you, you'll probably have a very sizable refund from IRS in April. If that's the case, you really have to examine your W-4 more closely, because I guarantee you are withholding more taxes than you should. You're giving IRS a free interest loan every year and for 15 months because you don't get your refund back until April. So I'm going to go a little bit into that, just a little, just hold on to that. One other thing is you have to trim discretionary spending. So discretionary spending meaning anything like your vacation, could be extra subscriptions you don't need, from music to NBA.com to NFL to UFC. I'm just using that as an example. And also means that instead of buying 3 pairs of new shoes, I may have to just wear my old pair of Converse. Instead of going to dinner twice a week, I may have cut it down to twice a month. All these things will have impact on your discretionary spending, and that will increase your purchasing power. There's a level 3, right? Your income is not fixed. So you can find more overtime, pick up more shifts, find some side hustle, get a co-borrower. When you have income, it will help with your housing budget. So all these levers sort of, will have an impact on your housing affordability. And nothing is set in stone. Something changes, it will change your overall affordability, if that makes sense. Okay, I talked about the W-4. So why you should review it? Well, when you're buying a home, your income has changed. You have a lot of overtime or commission income. Your household changed. You got married. You had more babies. And your refund is consistently, I would say consistently over like $2,000. You should definitely review it. So in that particular case, in the real example I was showing, that couple who only gets take-home pay, it's like close to $6,000, remember? Okay, so this is what we did. We actually reviewed their W-4 withholdings. And look at that. This is crazy. Before, their take-home pay based on their take home, they can get only 339,000. And after we did that W-4, they are giving IRS a free interest loan of 7,000, close to 7,000 for a 15 months period. I'm like, Anita, what are you doing? If you want to buy a home now, you can buy a home now, but you are giving all that money, your housing budget, to IRS, who doesn't really know how to spend taxpayer money very well. We all know that. So I'd rather you take that money back from them every paycheck. So now you can actually buy into the home in the neighborhood you want. So that's why I say the W-4 review is important, and do that every quarter because things change. And it also happens if you owe people IRS money so that you actually withholding enough, right? So it goes both ways. But in this particular case, we found her the extra money that she can actually buy into the house, into the neighborhood she wants. Amazing. So we talked about the lever 1, 2, and 3, how you can adjust all these different levers to improve your purchasing power. I want to talk to you about a real buyer or a potential buyer. This is her profile. She makes $73,000 a year. She has a car payment. Yes, I know when I say it's gonna shock a lot of people. It's $1,200 a month. I know. I don't want to get into details as how she got there, but it is what it is. Mistakes were made, and we try to just remedy and still give her a plan to be able to buy a house in 12 months. She also has some credit card debt, which is about $5,000. Her credit score right now is 570. It's not most ideal, but 5,000 is also not the end of the world. So this is what our plan looks like. From surface, if you just look at where she's at right now, there's absolutely, I don't think she's ready, but things can change if we just stick to a plan. So we talked about where she's at today, what we're going to do month 1 through month 4. She's going to live a very simple life. I know. She's probably going to have a very tight food budget, and we're going to allocate 20% of her gross income to drastically reduce her credit card debt. So by 4 months end, she's going to wipe out her 5,000 credit card debt. At the end of 4 months, I'm very confident that her credit score is going to be raised to, I would say, 640-ish. After she have all no credit card debt, I think it's going to be very, very good. And there are several things could happen when you at 640. We could try to refinance a car, because right now her interest on car is significant. Yeah, it's close to 20 probably. So after we pay down the credit card debt, her credit score is going to improve. That gives us options. And at the end of 4th month, beginning the 5th month, she's continue going to put away that $1,200. Now she has no debt. We're going to save that money. And we're going to save it for 8 months. She will have enough for down payment and a cushion. And during that period, I'm hopeful that we can refinance the car loan to a much better interest and a lower payment. So in 12 months' time, she will be able to buy a condo that she can live without sharing with another roommate. I think that would be a win-win. So as you can see, without a plan, she probably just gonna do what she does. She says, yeah, sometimes I like to buy things here and there because I like it. I will still go out and eat. Now we have this plan, then you just have to be sticking to it if you want to buy this home in 12 months. And she can do it. I think for those of you guys who are listening, sometimes you feel home ownership is so far away. And I'm going to provide you with some positive message. It's not as far away as you think if you plan early. So, if you need help with the budget that I just talked about, okay, reach out to me, right? So, I'm going to give you some homework. Go to my mortgagesensor.com/renting, and I want you to, okay, actually, let me backtrack. First of all, you got to know what your take-home pay is, right? And then you got to find out all your expenses from the last 90 days, from your personal bank statement, from your credit card debt. Categorize them. Okay, then you go to my mortgageuncensored.com/renting. You're going to enter all your budgets in there. And one more thing we didn't talk about is if you go to step 1, your paychecks, this actually calculates if you are over withholding or under withholding. It's actually really good. It's not meant to be completely accurate, but it gives you, an estimate. So you can start there, and it will give you your monthly take-home pay with optimized W-4. So that's fantastic. So go just, knock yourself out. And on this one, after you have done your analysis of your expenses for 90 days, put in here. This will calculate your housing budget. And once you know that, it's going to, like, what cushion do you want, right? Some people might not nothing, and it's gonna, like, oh, sorry, I don't want to go over, but you get the idea. And also, I also have a lot of good calculators on my website. It's my educational website called mortgagesensor.com. It has all kinds of calculators. So if you need affordability, if you want to find out if I were to buy this house, how much tax benefit would I get? It gives you some estimate. So it's really, really awesome. So do this exercise and you will get your affordability housing payment number, right? So this is the number before you go fall in love with a house that you have no business buying. If you need my help, text PLAN to 916-975-6120. Hey, I'm your biggest advocate. And I'm not here to judge you, the mistakes you've made. I'm here to help you how to plan it out so you can actually be able to buy your first home. That's it. Treat me as your partner. What we're going to talk about next week, top 5 mistakes buyers make when shopping for a home. And we're going to share some live, real funny examples. I think it'll be fun. I'm going to also have all my information here. I constantly put out a lot of TikTok videos and tips about, loans, personal budgeting, credit. So go check it out. And YouTube, I have previous recorded videos you can watch. And like I said, go do your exercise on my website /renting. If you need to reach out to me by email, it's ye@mortgageuncensored.com. Somebody said, okay, I'm going to talk about the tax benefits a little bit. Somebody was asking. There's definitely tax benefit when you own a home. But I also want to talk about a few things. One is when your income, it really depends on income tax bracket. So if you are at a 22 income tax bracket, you're going to see significant tax benefit because mortgage interest, taxes, and nowadays mortgage insurance are all deductible. But if you are at a 12%, I wouldn't worry too much of a tax benefits. Depending on the house you buy, I think 200, 300,000 is sort of my cutoff. Anything under that, there's not too much tax benefit to talk about. So you most likely will use a standard deduction if the price is under 300,000, if that makes any sense, right? So once you get to 300,000, the itemized deductions start to make sense, and you're going to see more tax benefit coming to you. I hope that helps. And one thing I do want to emphasize, because people back in the days, mortgage insurance was deductible, then they took it away for several years, and only becomes available to be deducted starting because of the big and beautiful bill that passed in 2025. So if you plan to buy this year and you don't put down 20%, you will pay mortgage insurance, but that will be tax deductible. So that's a good thing to know. Let me see. Any other questions? Okay, I think I have covered most of the topics today. I hope you learned a little bit, and I really appreciate you spending time with me. So I will see you guys next Wednesday if you want to find out the top 5 mistakes buyers make when they shop for their first home. Thank you so much for spending the time, and I see you guys next Wednesday.